Hello students, hope you are doing well by the grace of Almighty Allah. This is Najma Jalil, Associate Professor, Department of English, Chittagong College, Chittagong. It's a pleasure that once again I'm signing in to take this virtual class. But before I continue with my topic, clause and its types, I must thank the authority of the college, especially our respected principal, Professor Muhammad Mujibul Haq Chaudhry, Vice Principal, Professor Muhammad Mujahidul Islam Chaudhry, Head of the Department of English, AMM Mujibur Rahman, Chief Coordinator of Online Classes, Professor Muhammad Kazimuddin, my colleague Subhash Chandra Dash, and others in making of these online classes. In my last class, I discussed on phrases and its types. Hope you understood what I tried to emphasize while explaining them in detail. Today, I will discuss about clause and its types, and I'll give you some important sentences based on these clauses which I have collected from the test papers from educational boards from 2016 to 2019. Clause and its types. Let us examine the following sentences. Number 1. I asked the boy. Here in sentence 1, I asked the boy is a complete sentence because I is a subject, asked is a finite verb, the boy is an object. I asked the boy is a group of words which can join other groups to make a complex sentence or a compound sentence. Look at the next sentence, number 2. I asked the boy why he was absent. In sentence 2, I asked the boy why he was absent. There are two clauses. I asked the boy, he was absent. In I asked the boy, the structure is subject plus finite verb plus object. In he was absent, subject plus verb finite plus complement. Both the sentences make a complete sense independently, and they are joined by the word why to make a complex sentence. I asked the boy why he was absent, but he kept silent. This is number 3 question. In sentence 3, but he kept silent, here he kept silent is joined by but to make a compound sentence. Thus, a clause is a group of words which has a subject or an object. There must be a finite verb. Clause is therefore a unit of a sentence. Each clause can be identified by the number of finite words in them. You all know what finite verb is, but still I am going to give a short definition on finite verb. What is a finite verb? Verb that takes different form as particular tenses and changes, not for the past tense but for the present tense, according to the number and person of the subject. Finite verbs are of two types: principal verb, auxiliary verb. Principal verbs are again subdivided into three parts. Number 1, transitive verbs. Number 2, intransitive verbs. Number 3, linking verbs. Auxiliary verbs are divided into two: primary auxiliary verb and modal auxiliary verb. I asked the boy why he was absent, but he kept silent. In this sentence, asked, was, kept, there are three finite verbs. And these can be identified by the number and the subject. Again, I asked the boy is principal clause or independent clause. Why he was absent, subordinate clause or dependent clause. But he kept silent is coordinate clause. What is principal clause? The definition is, the word principal means main. It also means independent. In other words, a clause which is not dependent on other clauses and which stands alone is independent or principal clause. I asked the boy why he was absent, but he kept silent. In the above mentioned sentence, I asked the boy is an independent or principal clause because the subordinate clauses why he was absent depends on it. Again, there are two characteristics of dependent clauses. Number 1, according to the meaning of the clause, it depends on the principal clause. And number 2, usually it begins with a conjunction. In the example, the sentence which I have given you, it is why. Some important subordinate conjunctions. Please make a note of it. What, who, when, how, whose, where, why, whom, that, if, since, because, before, after, though, so, as, wherever, whenever, while, after, until, unless, etc. Coordinate clause or coordinate conjunction. Again, I am going to give the example of the sentence. I asked the boy why he was absent, but he kept silent. Why he was absent, but he kept silent. The above two clauses are joined by a coordinate conjunction, but. But he kept silent depends on subordinate clause, why he was absent. Again, two principal clauses may join to form a coordinate clause. I went to New Market, but my friend went to Meena Bazaar. Here, I went to New Market is a principal clause, while my friend went to Meena Bazaar is also a principal clause. However, they are combined by the conjunction but. Here, the two clauses are independent and hence they are coordinate clauses. Coordinating conjunctions are and, but, or. Now look at this structure. Clause divided into three types: principal clause, subordinate clause, coordinate clause. Subordinate clause are of three types: noun clause, adjective clause, adverb clause. Types of subordinate clause. Number 1, noun clause. A noun clause is a group of words that has a subject or an object or complement, a finite verb, and functions as a noun. Types of noun clauses. Number 1, noun clause as a subject to a verb. When a noun clause works as a subject of a verb, it usually begins with that, what, how, when, why, whether and if. It may be mentioned that noun clause is used as a subject of be verb or linking verb. Structure: noun clause plus be verb plus principal clause. Number 1 sentence. That he is honest is known to all. That he is honest is noun clause. Is be verb. Known to all is principal clause. Number 2. Noun clause as an object to a verb. When a noun clause works as an object of a verb, it usually begins with that, what, how, when, why, whether and if. Here, noun clause is used as an object to transitive verbs. What is a transitive verb? Verb that cannot express the complete thought or idea without an object is called a transitive verb. Look at the structure. Principal clause plus noun clause plus object. I know that he has done the work. I know, principal clause, that he has done the work, noun clause as object. Number 3. As a complement to a subject. What is a complement? Complement is a describing word or phrase. When noun clause works as a complement of a subject, then it usually begins with what, that, why, how, where, etc. Then only be verb, that is am, is, are, was, were, is used before noun clause. Structure: subject plus be verb plus noun clause as complement. Number 1. The truth is that he is very shy. The truth subject is verb, complement to the subject that he is very shy. Number 4. Complement to an object. When noun clause works as a complement to an object, then it begins with words like that, what, how, why, whatever, if, etc. Structure: subject plus verb plus object plus noun clause as complement. I told him what he wanted to know. Subject I, told verb, object him, what he wanted to know, main clause as complement of the object. Number 5. An object to a preposition. When a noun clause works as an object to a preposition, then it begins with words like WH words. Look at the structure. Principal clause plus preposition plus noun clause as object to the preposition. Sentence: it depends on what you really mean. It depends principal clause on preposition. What you really mean, noun clause. Number 6. In apposition to noun or a pronoun. When a noun clause works as an apposition to a noun, then it follows with the word that. Noun clause is usually in apposition to the following words: fact, truth, explanation, rumor, news, word, belief, statement, report, etc. What is an apposition? An apposition gives a descriptive analysis of a noun before it. Sentence 1. The news that he is dead is false. The news is subject or noun. That he is dead is apposition given descriptive analysis, is verb, and false is complement. Adjective clause. Adjective clause modifies a noun. It is placed usually after a noun. It is introduced by a relative pronoun or by a relative adverb. Antecedent is placed before an adjective clause. Adjective clauses may be with relative pronouns, relative adverbs as subjects, as objects, and as object of a preposition, and as possessives. What is an antecedent? The relative pronoun before a noun means antecedent. Relative pronoun used in defining adjective clauses. For subject, who, that. For object, who, whom, that. For possessives, whose. For things, subject, which, that. Object, which, that. Possessives, whose, of which. Number 1. Adjective clause with relative pronoun as subject. Number 1 sentence. Jerry was a poor boy who lived in the orphanage. In the sentence mentioned above, who lived in the orphanage is an adjective clause because who is a relative pronoun which works as the subject and the boy is antecedent of who. So, who lived in the orphanage modifies the noun boy. Number 2. Adjective clause with relative pronoun as object. Sentence number 1. The boy whom we helped was very helpless. In the sentence mentioned above, whom we helped is an adjective clause because it is placed after the antecedent the boy and it qualifies the noun boy. Number 3. Adjective clause with relative pronoun as object of preposition. Sentence. This is the boy about whom I told you. In the above mentioned sentence, about whom I told you is an adjective clause because about is referred to as object and it comes after the noun boy. The boy is antecedent and it is modified by the clause, hence an adjective clause. Adverb clause. An adverb clause is a subordinate clause which does the work of an adverb. It therefore modifies verbs, adjectives or adverbs of the main clause. Types of adverb clause. Number 1. Adverb clause of time. Adverb clause of time is introduced by subordinate conjunctions when, ever, while, after, before, since, as soon as, no sooner than. For example, number A. As soon as he heard the news, he gave me a call. Number B. I will do it when I think it fit. Number C. No sooner had he seen the police than he ran away. Adjective clauses here are as soon as he heard the news in number A. In number B it is when I think it fit. And in number C is no sooner had he seen the police. Number 2. Adverb clause of place. Adverb clause of place is used to talk about the place where something happens. It is usually introduced by subordinate conjunctions where and wherever. Number A. They can stay where they can. Number B. Where they are hiding is unknown to all. The adverb clauses here are where they can and in number B where they are hiding. These are adverb clause of place. Adverb clause of purpose. Number 3. Adverb clause of purpose is introduced by subordinate conjunctions. So that, in order that, lest, etc. The purpose comes usually after the main clause. Number A. We eat so that we may live. Here, the adverb clause of purpose is so that we may live. The most common form of purpose clause is by infinitive. Number B sentence. I keep the window open to keep the fresh air in. Here, the adverb clause is to keep the fresh air in. Number 4. Adverb clause of reason or cause. Adverb clause of reason is introduced by subordinate conjunctions because, as, since, seeing that, with a view to, etc. The reason clause comes before or after the main clause. Number A. I could not go to college as I was ill. Here, the reason is as I was ill. Number 5. Adverb clause of condition. Adverb clause of condition is introduced by subordinate conjunctions. If, unless, whether, provided. If clause is mainly used here. Number A. If you come, I will go. Number B. You cannot succeed in life unless you work hard. Students, you are all familiar with if clauses, and this is also an important clause. Number 6. Adverb clause of result, consequence. Adverb clause of result or consequence is introduced by that. Frequently so or such precedes it in the principal clause. Number A. He is such a good man that all respect him. That all respect him is adverb clause of result. Number B. So terrible a disease broke out that very few people survived. That very few people survived is again the adverb clause of result. Number 7. Adverb clause of comparison. Comparison here is made between two things. Here degree of comparisons are used. The degrees which are used are positive degree and comparative degree. For example, then, as, so as, the same as, the, etc. The verb in the degree of comparison is usually not used directly. In the negative comparison, so is used in the place of as. Number A. Rubel is not so fast as Sohail. Number B. The more you read, the more you learn. Number 8. Adverb clause of supposition or concession. Concession adverb clauses contrast expectations between the information of different dependent clause and main clause. They are introduced by suppositions. Though, although, even though, even if, whether, whatever, etc. Number A. Though he is poor, he is honest. Number B. I shall be able to get in even if I have no ticket. Now, I have finished with the adverb clause and I have discussed the types of clauses. Here are some very important sentences which I have selected from the test papers. These important sentences have been taken from board questions. Please follow the questions. Number 1. We are a free nation now. 1971 is the year when Bangladesh emerged as an independent nation. Number 2. Time has its wings. It was 5 years since we had each other. Number 3. Hardly had we seen the police when the thief disappeared in the crowd. Number 4. I was really in a great danger. He came here with a view to rescuing me from danger. Number 5. The condition of Rafi's father is not well. If I knew his mobile number, I would phone him without delay. Number 6. Death is inevitable. There is none who can avoid death. Number 7. It is difficult to give a specific definition of beauty. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Number 8. Please remember that I can't do the work alone. I will do every work provided you give me time enough to complete them. Number 9. Trees are inseparable part of our life, but man is responsible for the destruction of trees and forests. Number 10. My friend is now in serious financial problem. I wish I could help him. Students, I have given you 10 important examples, you can say. Here are again some very important proverbs or quotations which I have selected. You know very common quotations like where there is a will, there is a way. Time and tide wait for none. Honesty is the best policy. These are very common ones, but I have selected some uncommon proverbs or quotations. Please make a note of it and it will be of great help to you, I hope. The sentences I am going to read out now. Number 1. He who follows 2 hares catches none. Number 2. What is blotted cannot be blotted. Number 3. Misfortune never comes alone. Number 4. A drowning man catches at a straw. Number 5. Grasp all, lose all. Number 6. Make hay while the sun shines. Number 7. Man is known by the company he keeps. Number 8. Birds of same feather flock together. Number 9. Faults are thick where love is thin. Number 10. A stitch in time saves 9. Number 11. When in Rome, do as the Romans. Number 12. Self-help is the best help. Number 13. Beauty is truth, truth beauty. Number 14. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Number 15. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Number 16. A bird in hand is worth 2 in a bush. Number 17. Every cloud has a silver lining. Number 18. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Number 19. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Number 20. Peace hath her victories, no less renowned than war. Number 21. The old order changeth, yielding to new. Number 22. We live in deeds, not years. Number 23. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Number 24. A little learning is a dangerous thing. Number 25. All's well that ends well. So students, these are some very important proverbs and quotations which I have selected for you. I hope it will be of great help. That's all for today, students. Hope you've understood what I said, and both phrases and clauses bear 5 plus 5, 10 marks in English second paper. I want all of you to practice as much as you can from the previous questions. Till then, students, hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.